All right, I think we're ready to roll.
You're listening to Words Like That with Cole Powell, a storytelling podcast.
All right, folks, this is Words Like That. I'm Cole Powell. If you're watching this on the Randomine Records YouTube channel, you may already know that I've been producing music reaction videos on this channel for the last 3 years, almost 3 years. And you may also have noticed that production has slimmed down significantly this year. And there are a couple of reasons for that. One, I've just been super busy with other things outside the channel, since this is a part-time, very casual thing that's actually taken a lot more time and effort than I originally anticipated. But another reason is we have been getting hammered on YouTube from multiple sides. There's two main things going on with YouTube. One involves specifically the copyright claiming system that affects any videos that uses second-party copyrighted content, which reaction videos do. And the other is a general channel throttling that I suspected was affecting other channels. And when I was prepping to do this episode last week, another channel that I followed, a music-based music commentary channel that's a lot bigger than ours, released a video describing the exact same things that we've been experiencing on this channel, and I'm going to get into all that. So first up, on the copyright claiming stuff, I've done several videos on how the YouTube copyright claiming system works and going through dispute processes and appeal processes to be able to use free and clear copyrighted content made by somebody else and getting that up on YouTube. Short version is YouTube has this giant database. When somebody uploads a video, it checks that video against its database with all these copyrighted works in it to make sure that somebody isn't committing copyright infringement using somebody else's copyrighted work. And if a copyrighted work is detected, YouTube automatically flags it. And in the case of reaction videos like what we do, legally we're supposed to be able to use this stuff free and clear under fair use because we're commenting on it, we're critiquing it, we're using it for educational purposes, we're changing the video, shrinking it down, adjusting the audio, and all that makes this what's called fair use content. That means that we can use this content without it being copyright infringement. And unlike a lot of channels, I have a strict policy that we don't keep up any videos that uses copyrighted content that we can't get cleared through YouTube's clearance system. And I've made videos talking about why that is. The short version is I just don't think it's legally prudent. So what we do as soon as the video is uploaded, copyright content is flagged, we go through a dispute process. Most of the time, the video is released through this process. Sometimes the dispute is rejected by the copyright manager that's been hired by the copyright holder of the content. And then we have to go through an appeal process. Usually it's released on appeal. Before February, we only lost 6 appeals. And that's a significantly low number because we've done probably, 200 appeals or so at this point. And those 6 times we were issued takedown notices, which just means that the copyright manager says, you got to take this video down. And we did. And that was that. Everything was peachy. We didn't get copyright strikes. And I want to do a video explaining that process and kind of debunking some of the ideas of how easy it is to get a copyright strike doing reaction videos and going through the dispute appeal process, but hadn't got to that. Maybe next video or episode of the podcast. But anyway, before February, that only happened 6 times. Well, also before February, the way that YouTube was flagging the copyrighted content that we were using, it would only flag the longest portion used without us stopping the video, like the longest sequential sequence of copyrighted material, which was usually like 1 minute, 5 seconds. So let's say we're reacting to a song and I listen to the first 1 minute, 5 seconds, and then I start commenting on what I just listened to, and the video is removed from the screen, and I talk for a little bit, and then we go back and we listen to more of the song, and so on and so forth. Okay, so it would flag that longest section, that like minute and 5 seconds. Okay, well, in February, I noticed something changed. YouTube started flagging every single bit of the copyrighted content used. So if we've got a 3-minute song and we've got a minute and 5 seconds, a minute, and then 55-second segments with me talking between, it flags each segment. In some cases, it just like ignores that the video was stopped and that I talked, and it just flags it as this giant block, which is now going to be like, I don't know, maybe a 3-minute song, but now it's flagged like 3 minutes and 45 seconds because it included me talking as part of the copyrighted content. So what it now looks like whenever the copyright manager gets our dispute, they see that timestamp that's been flagged by YouTube, and it just looks like that we're playing their client's copyrighted material all the way through with no commentary, which is copyright infringement. So and I don't even blame the copyright managers for this, because they're just looking at the data that YouTube's given them, even though we're saying, no, this is fair use, this is a commentary video. Who are you going to believe? Us or what YouTube has flagged that we've used in the video? And the results of this have been one of the copyright managers that we have reacted to a lot of their artist material before February, before this new system went into place, this flagging system went into place. They had never rejected any of our fair use disputes. They had always released the copyrighted material with no problem. As soon as this change happened in February, we got 2 back-to-back dispute rejections from this company. It had never happened before. And they released it on appeal, which was great, and we appreciate it. But that was a change. There's another company that manages an artist that we've reacted to a lot, and they've been a little bit hard to deal with in the past. They usually just reject the disputes initially, but then release it on appeal, which is fine. It's a little bit more annoying, but okay. They have now rejected 3 appeals and issued takedown notices on all 3 of those videos. And that was in a matter of a couple of weeks after this new system got implemented on YouTube. That is in comparison to 6 total takedown notices in the 2.5 years prior. So it's definitely been a big change. And what that's done for me is it's made a lot more editing work. So I'm having to take some of these and edit them down, like just completely cut out giant sections of the song, so you don't even get to see part of the reaction. And I know that can't be as enjoyable for the YouTube audience. We've still got them. We've got the whole cut on Patreon that you can go check it out, and that'd be great if you went support us on Patreon and went and check that out. But I would really prefer to also have those available on YouTube. In some cases, I can't do that anymore. It's also had to make me more mindful of how much talking I do whenever I talk, like watching the clock and make sure I start talking at a certain point, which kind of distracts and takes away from me being able to enjoy the song that I'm reacting to. So that's been kind of annoying. The other issue that we've been having with YouTube is starting October of last year, so we're 7 months in, we hit 1 million views, which was a huge accomplishment. It was great. We were growing exponentially, expanding like crazy. We'd gotten 500,000 channel views between January and October. So it was like a 9.5 months. We got 500,000 channel views, which was great. Doubled our total channel views in that time period. And as soon as we hit 1 million views, everything just died, like inexplicably. Like nobody's watched our videos. What is going on here? And it was because we got throttled. Now, whenever any creator starts using the term throttling, or I'm going to talk about this other creator in a minute who used the term shadow ban, there's going to be a wing that's listening that's going to be like, no, there's no such thing as throttle. There's no such thing as shadow banning. You're just losing your audience for some reason, and you're looking for an excuse. And I got to be honest with you, I have been on that side. Like whenever I first started hearing about throttling and shadow banning on various platforms. I'm like, is that really happening? I'm not so sure about that. After what I've now seen on the back end, on the analytics, 100% believe it. So we hit 1 million views in October. Everything was going great. We were getting thousands of views on our content, even new types of content that we were doing. I started doing movie reactions. We got like 6,000 views on one of those videos, which was really good for our channel. This is a small channel. Going great. And then we hit those 1 million views. All of a sudden, our audience just dropped off to nothing. And any creator that's worth their salt that isn't a total narcissist, the first thought is going to be, what have I done? What have I done something in the content? Are the thumbnails bad, or is our light just too bad? Because we've never had great light in here. We don't have great light in here right now. We've been trying to work it out. Also got a new camera. Had some issues with that. It's neither here nor there. But anyway, that's the first question that any good creator asks. And it just didn't make any sense because we didn't change anything and everything shut down as soon as we hit that 1 million view number. So I got to looking at the analytics, and it turns out YouTube is just not pushing out our videos anymore. And not only that, but it was capped. This was the kicker. I noticed a pattern of, I'll use the term capping us off at an average of 1,000 views a day over the course of like a week to 10 days. So what I mean by that is some days we'd get like almost exactly 1,000 views every day. And then maybe there would be a spike where we get like 2,000 views in one day. And then the next day though, we'd get like 500. And then maybe the next day we'd get 700. And then maybe 800. And by a week to 10 days, if you went back and added all those numbers up and divided by the number of days, it would all average out to almost exactly 1,000 views a day. And at that point, I'm like, okay, this is nothing organic. This has got to be something from YouTube's algorithm. Now, contrary to how some people think of an algorithm is not a person, nor is there a person sitting at their computer screen that works for YouTube watching my channel or somebody else's channel and wielding the algorithm to do something to our videos or our channel. Instead, the way it's programmed, the algorithm has certain sets of criteria of how to treat videos and channels. And when we hit 1 million views, I would say that was the last piece to hit a set of criteria that we needed to meet for the algorithm to stop pushing our videos out. And I felt like we weren't the only ones. As I said earlier, there's another content creator, and I'll say who it is. I'll try to flash some of this stuff up on the screen. You can go check out his video that he did. I'll try to have a link to that in the description on the various platforms. But his name is Phil. I'm not even sure of Phil's last name, but he runs the Wings of Pegasus YouTube channel. He's a British rocker. Great guy. Love watching the guy. And he does music commentary. But his channel is a little bit different than ours. First of all, he's got almost 500,000 subscribers, so way more views than we do. And he also is strictly music. We also do movies and a little bit of TV. And he doesn't really do a lot of reactions. His is more analytical stuff where he breaks down vocals. That's become kind of his main thing. And he made this video last week where he described exactly the same thing that had happened to us back in October, although it sounded like it didn't happen until 3 months ago or so, which makes me think he hit whatever set of criteria that his channel needed to hit to be throttled. And he used the term shadowbanning, and apparently that's a term that I searched on YouTube. That's a term that a lot of YouTubers have used to describe this. To me, that's not really accurate of what I always understood shadow banning to be on other platforms. I think throttling is more apt. But regardless, it's happening to Phil. And basically the conclusion that Phil came to was he was getting hit by YouTube because he has been exposing a lot of these big name artists who are lip syncing in concert, and some artists who are trying to act like they don't use pitch correction, but they actually do use it on their material. and also some classic remasters, which have been tweaked with a pitch. And he feels like that the labels and artists basically got YouTube to hit his channel. And it could be. It could very well be. I certainly believe that, I mean, I know that the big labels have deals with YouTube. And I also know that I have done a couple of videos where I was talking about a big artist and that video got no views. This is before we hit that throttling. I know that's not the case with us because we're not really doing that kind of content. And I think I figured out why we got throttled, why we got hit. And it's probably the same reason that Phil got hit too. Although I don't know this. This is purely speculation because YouTube is notoriously not transparent with how all this works and why they do what they do. I think it's just a matter of YouTube pushing us to make more shorts, more short form content. And it boils down to, like most things, the money. And I think Phil said something like this in his video too, but he was looking at it from a different perspective. But basically, YouTube is trying to compete now with TikTok, with Instagram Reels, all these short form content videos that the younger generations are really getting into, and even the older generations are getting into. And they're prioritizing that over the traditional longer form YouTube content for at least some channels when they've hit a certain criteria. And the reason I believe this to be the case, I was making shorts. I was clipping, 30 seconds, a minute, minute and a half, maybe even 2 minutes out of some of my longer videos and put them as shorts. I was usually doing like one a week. And I started doing this during this algorithm weirdness where we're only getting 1,000 views a day. And I noticed no matter what I did with the longer form content, I could do 3 videos a week, 4 videos a week, 5 videos a week. It didn't matter. It was the same 1,000 views a day average. But when I released a short, there would be a quick burst for a day or two. Like YouTube started not only pushing the short out, which was getting more views than our regular stuff, but also they pushed out more of our longer form content too, which was interesting. And a few weeks ago, I decided to release 2 shorts in 1 week. And for the few days surrounding those are starting with the first short, going through a couple of days after I did the second short release, we were averaging like 1,500 to 2,000 views a day. And that hit me like, okay, this is it. They're trying to push out more short form content. This is where they're trying to lead creators down, the path they're trying to lead creators down. And that's fine. I mean, I don't have a problem doing shorts. Again, I was doing them before I realized that this is what YouTube was trying to push. But it's also not really the type of content that I consume, and it's not really the primary content I want to make. And since most of my shorts are from longer form content, I still have to produce longer form content to get the shorts. And I've thought about in the past doing some short specific that would be clips from videos, and I may still do that. But it's just not the primary thing I want to be doing. And to give you an example here, I got a couple of screenshots. I did a video on Thunderbolts, which was a really big Marvel movie that came out. I did a review on it, and we've gotten some pretty good numbers on some of the reviews I've done. I think like the Bob Dylan movie review got like 2,000 views or something. And I did this video review on the podcast, put it on YouTube, on Thunderbolts. It's titled Best MCU Villain, Thunderbolts New Avengers Review, mild spoilers, and the podcast name. And it got 51 views, which is statistically basically nothing. Nobody watched that video. And I clipped like a 2-minute or something section of that titled Lewis Pullman in Thunderbolts is MCU GOAT. And it got 984 views. And it also had a whole lot of likes and a couple of comments. So that tells me it's not that there wasn't an audience for this content. It's that the audience that YouTube is pushing that content out to are short watchers. That's what they're pushing towards. And right after I came to this conclusion that that's what YouTube was trying to do, was push these shorts out, YouTube announced that they were actually going to be counting shorter duration watches of shorts as full views. And it's like, why would you do that? Well, it's because they want to beef up these view counts to get creators into creating more short form content. To me, that's the reasonable explanation. So what does all this mean for creators? For big content creators like Phil, they're going to be fine. Like they've got so many subscribers that it does matter to a degree, because it can affect the income, the amount of money it takes to bring in to make these things. But I think Phil's going to be fine. I think creators that size, they're going to be fine. They're going to continue to do this. Smaller creators like me, I don't know. This has been a big blow to the channel, to my content creation, and with a whole bunch of the personal stuff I got going on. I'm in school and working on my doctorate. Just wrapped my master's degree, started my doctoral studies. I've got 4 kids, 5th one on the way. I have all kinds of other professional endeavors that I really want to do that I've put off to do the YouTube stuff, because I know people were enjoying it, because people were seeing it because it was being pushed out. Now nobody's seeing it because the stuff isn't getting pushed out. So it's getting harder and harder for me to justify spending the time to do this. So what am I going to do? I don't know. Right now, I think I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. Although I think and I've already kind of got into this mode this year just because I've been so busy, but produce stuff when I can. But eventually there's probably going to come a point where if something doesn't change, if we don't start having our videos pushed out more, I may have to at least take a break, or just say, hey, it's been great. I've enjoyed this. I'm glad so many people have enjoyed this, and it's been fun. Thank y'all so much, and move on. I'm not ready to go there yet. I'm going to keep trucking, but I do know, I feel like it's going to be an uphill battle. And the one thing I do know is that I am at the mercy of YouTube as a content creator. And that's kind of a shame. I wish at least they would be more transparent about how their algorithm works, what we can do, what we need to do with our videos, with our channels, what their sets of criteria are for how they decide which videos get pushed out, which videos don't, which channels get promoted, which channels don't. But we don't have that right now, so we just got to keep plugging along. And that's about it on this topic. That's why it's been getting really hard to do music reaction videos for me, and I'm sure there are other channels out there that's having the same issues. So what do you think about that? Have you been noticing, if you're a regular viewer of the channel, have you been noticing that you're not getting notifications? I know Phil talked about this. I know I've had people tell me in comments in the past, like, we've been unsubscribed to your channel for some reason, or we're not getting notifications. We're signed up for notifications, we're not getting any. Let us know in the comments if you've experienced anything like that, if you've heard of any other creators who are having the same issues. And we will see you next time.
Can't have no words like that. Theme, Words Like That by Powell. Lead in by Ryan Purser. From Wicked Woman by Four-Way Stop. Original cover photo by Kelly Bagwell. Recorded at Randomine Records. Section 107 of U.S. copyright law allows for the fair use of copyrighted material for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, parody, or research.